Good morning. Welcome to My Left Ear. It is Thursday, December 30th. Now, for all my loyal subscribers and viewers, I promised a video yesterday, but I got like this amazing sinus headache and I just couldn't do it. So here I am. But, you know, there was more to add. This is video 70, My Left Ear, December 30th. We're almost into 2022. I named this Waiting for Godot. I'll explain that in a minute. But this is, for those who don't know me, this is a left-leaning political YouTube, and I offer privately, I offer psychic coaching, therapeutic hypnosis, and here I do political and psychic commentary, and then some other feel-good things. So hang around for the feel-good things. Now, Petey is with me right now. I didn't put him away. Now, if he causes a ruckus or tries to upstage this, I may have to pick him up and put him in the bedroom, but we'll see. I'll talk about Petey at the end, since people are kind of interested in his progress. And also, it's important for me to say this is for entertainment purposes only. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for hanging with this YouTube site that I created and giving me wonderful feedback, wonderful letters that I get from you guys that really mean a lot to me, by the way. And I'll just take this moment because I don't do it every show. I actually forget. I'm not good at marketing. I'm good at sharing, I'm good at writing, but I'm not good at marketing. If you hit like, it helps me. And if you subscribe, it helps me. It helps me grow. So we just want to say that. And one piece of good evidence is that there have been some more subscribers the past week or 10 days. I don't know whether it's the holidays, but I'm grateful for it. Thank you. 2022 is going to be a big, fat, juicy year with a lot of events, changes, some good news. So I want to just say neuro-linguistic programming, which I studied, it states, look for the learnings. So when we look back on 2021, we should be looking for what did I learn? What did we learn? And then in 22, look for the learnings, no matter what happens. So I'm looking at 22 as a reset, a reboot, and a fresh journey, even though we're in the middle of this pandemic, even though I'm very aware of what we're in the middle of, but I just want to say that. So the first message from My Left Ear is better times ahead. That's my message, better times ahead. Now, why did I call this Waiting for Godot? Some of you may know this. Waiting for Godot was a very famous play that came about in the late 40s, English by English playwright Samuel Beckett, and it only has 2 characters. It's been done all over the world. It's been done on PBS. It's been done by, it only requires 2 actors. Very famous actors have done it. And it's 2 characters that engage, that's it, just 2 characters that engage in a variety of discussions and encounters while they are awaiting Godot, G-O-D-O-T. And nobody really knows what Godot is. Godot. He never arrives, or she never arrives. And it's in 2 acts, but the second act kind of almost repeats the first act. It's very funny. It's very clever. It keeps the audience waiting. And it's up to all kinds of interpretations. Uh-oh, I'm seeing Petey get into trouble. I may have to get up in a minute. You know what? Let me take a moment. I think he's not going to give me peace here. I'm going to pick him up. I'll show him to you, and then I'm going to put him in the bedroom. Thank you for your patience. I tried, but he's a bad boy. Okay, Petey, come on. Yeah? You're a bad boy. You're a bad boy, and you're going to have to go into the bedroom. Can you say hi to everybody? This is a bad boy. He's a very bad boy, so he's going to go into the bedroom. I'll tell you about him later. Thank you for your patience. Sorry about that. I don't think I'm going to do that again because I don't like disrupting this presentation. So waiting for the Godot. And it just, because I have a theater background, I just feel like that's what we're doing with Merrick Garland. We're waiting for Godot, except it's Garland. And we don't know if he's going to show up. So in the play, nothing happens. It's like a Seinfeld. It keeps the audience glued to their seats. We're glued to our seats, right? So that's that. We are waiting for Garland. Previously, we were waiting for Mueller. And it's going to take a village to apprehend and identify and grab all the people that are involved in this RICO operation, because I think we're going to hear more and more about RICO, because this is very widespread, this preparation and objective to end a democracy and replace Biden. But what I want to say about Merrick Garland is some people think he's not going to do anything, he's not going to show. My left ear feels that he doesn't want to be the first domino. He would prefer waiting, and maybe this is even in place and we don't know it. He wants to wait for the Southern District of New York. He wants to wait for Georgia with their voter fraud stuff against Trump and a few other people, and the committee. And so I think that Merrick Garland is going to be the final domino. And it's very frustrating, and people are kind of out of their mind because nobody knows anything. There's been no statements. What are we going to do? We just need that first domino to drop. And I think it's going to drop January, February 2022. I think it's really close. And I think it's New York. I think the SDNY is the one who's going to lead the charge, because it's going to take the committee a while longer to pull their story together and their facts together. Listen, you turn on the TV right now, I'm shifting gears. It's this COVID, Omicron. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. I just want to say, generally speaking, don't take chances. I know people that are taking chances personally. I know people that are traveling. I know someone who had a baby a while back, earlier this year, and she's not vaccinated at all. And she's in a business where she interacts with a lot of people, and I don't know what she's going to do now that this variant has come along that is so contagious. And just a little side story, Kathy Griffin, the comedian, she posted on Twitter, she just had almost a whole lung removed, or if not part of a lung removed, and she's recovered beautifully. But she wrote a Twitter and said, my husband and I got these tickets, and it's this incredible concert, it's Stevie Wonder, and there's 6,000 people, and what do you think, should I go? And evidently she overwhelmingly heard from people that said, do not go, Kathy Griffin. You just had surgery. And I said that too. So she didn't. She said, thank you for all the love. Thank you for that. We're not going to the concert. But not everybody is Kathy Griffin, and people are just moving forward in this denial situation. So it is probably going to, increase. Now, Peter Navarro, which I meant to do research on, and I'm looking at it right now, and I didn't do enough research on, but he was part of Trump's team medically, and he's openly talking about how he and Bannon recruited over 100 congressmen and senators to aid in the insurrection. This is not proven. We don't know. Well, I think it's a foregone conclusion that Congress people and senators were involved. We just don't know who, and we don't know how many. We know who some of them are for sure. So the 100, this is what he claimed. Now, I don't know why he's coming out and claiming this, because it just means he could get indicted. God knows, but it's all over the place, and it's him talking. It's not even in writing. And along those lines, I'm feeling more and more, and I've said this before, that many legislators are going to exit Congress and the Senate. It's going to be very shocking. It's going to be historical. And there's going to be so many openings to replace. And then we've got people that are just leaving, that are retiring. They're just leaving. There's going to be a lot of open seats. We got to keep the insane people out. It's the insane people. It's the Lauren Boebert and the Marjorie Taylor Greene and the others. And if we get more of these in, we are in deep trouble. I just want to say something. The morning that January 6th happened, I got up, so DC is 3 hours ahead from me, and I watched it, and I said this before, pardon me for repeating it, but I knew immediately, like in 20 seconds, oh, this was a production. There was a producer, an executive producer, there was a production team, because I came from live production, not just film. I worked in live production. I worked on all the comic relief benefits from the first one, and I saw how these giant live productions come together. I worked on the Oscars. It takes a lot of people. It takes a lot of organizing. It takes a lot of money. And so, production companies, when they're going on location, they will just rent a floor of a hotel and set up their production offices with their, all their machines and computers. Well, the same thing in that hotel. That was their production office. So it was so obvious to me, and this will happen with, anybody who is intuitive or psychic, that you'll think, well, this is obvious. Like, what, doesn't everybody see this? But not necessarily the case. This is what I saw, this is what I knew. And then people were like, hey, there's more people involved. I'm like, excuse me, no shit? Really? You think 3 people pulled this off? So we're gonna hear more and more. I had a flash. There was talk about the upcoming elections, and if the gasoline prices don't go down, because, well, they're very high in California, because that's crucial to re-election. Now, Biden isn't directly responsible for this, but I believe he and his team are going to work really hard on getting these gasoline prices tapped down, plus the Federal Reserve. So we'll keep an eye on that. It will have something to do with the outcome of the elections, 22 and 24. What is the most crucial right now is voting. It's not Build Back Better, it's voting rights. And so I listened carefully to Stacey Abrams, the fabulous, powerful, smart Stacey Abrams, who I am praying wins governor of Georgia, and I think she will. We have 2 things. We have the John Lewis Freedom to Vote Act, okay? And that's to pass legislation at the federal level to secure and protect bad legislation that has already passed. It is meant to create standards to protect, going forward, how we access voting rights across the country. And yes, I'm reading because I put a lot in here that I want to share with you. It is designed to mitigate existing laws that are very damaging. It seeks to mitigate threats to voting and poll workers. And basically it seeks to nullify bad laws that have already passed, which are very scary. So I copied this off the internet. This is what I'm going to read. By setting strong national standards for voter access, election integrity, and redistricting The Freedom to Vote Act will go a long way towards minimizing partisan malfeasance. I love that word, malfeasance, in the election process. And perhaps more importantly, the provisions of the law that simply make it easier for all Americans to vote. I mean, isn't that the idea? To one half of us is the idea. Such as same-day registration, accessible drop boxes, and early voting. Remove the incentives for states to come up with more creative ways to obstruct voters. Then there's a part two with John Lewis. It's the Voting Rights Advancement Act. So I'm going to read again because I can't remember all these facts. The Voting Rights Act, VRA, one of the nation's proudest civil rights achievements, used to protect voters from targeted voter suppression tactics. However, under the VRA, states and counties with a history of discrimination had to get federal approval for new voting laws, which stopped thousands of dangerous provisions from taking effect. Well, that's good. However, the Supreme Court gutted that requirement in 2013, giving the green light to politicians to attack voters' rights, pass new laws that would never stand up to this old review. So the partisan politicians have taken huge advantage, adding voter restrictions, gerrymandering, rollbacks of early and mail-in voting, on and on and on. But this Advancement Act, which must pass, rolls it back to 2013, and it states, listen carefully, that any new bills regarding voting must go through the DOJ first. It's not even going to be Congress, it's going to go through the DOJ first, which is nonpartisan. So this is the crucial issue right now, and will be, the voting rights, because we could potentially be in really tough place. The good news is that finally Joe Biden is talking about the filibuster. He wish he had been talking about it months ago. I think someone pulled his sleeve and said, President Biden, we really need to make this important. Could you put the Build Back Better on the back burner right now? Build Back Better on the back burner. I just came up with that. I think that's 5 Bs. 5 Bs. So this is where we're at. I'm ringing the bell. I'm going to talk about Trump for a minute. It's going to be a little controversial. I have never, even before I met you all, I never saw Trump going to jail. I know that sounds very disappointing. It's not my wish, but it's something like my left ear, so I need to share it with you. We actually may not see 45 pay that price that he's supposed to pay for a lifetime of criminality. And his father used baby Donald to funnel money. So he's been a criminal since he's been in diapers, a money launderer since he's been in diapers, and he's gone all these years. He paid some money out for Trump University, but he's never really been nailed. He won't run. He will get indicted. He will. But I don't think he's going to be around to go into jail. Now, 2 days ago, I had lunch with a friend who is not on YouTube, but she's very gifted psychic and does tarot. And sometimes we just play together with the runes and the tarot, and we ask questions. And she also said she doesn't think he's going to live to see jail. Now, here's where I'm going to say again, I'm doing this for entertainment purposes only. It's very important to say that. This is just little old me sharing my left ear material with you. Now we go on to Ghislaine Maxwell, because that is brand new news. that she did get indicted. She was found guilty on 5 charges. There were 6 charges. They did not find her guilty on something called enticement, because I guess they couldn't find the grounds or the proof. People are wondering, is she going to flip? Is she going to name names? Because she has the goods on lots of powerful people. My left ear does not think she's going to flip. I don't think the SDNY is going to be interested in making a deal with her. I don't think so. It's not done. It's really not done after a verdict is. I suppose it's been done, but it's rarely done after a verdict comes in. So this is just the saddest, sickest, darkest story. And it's, you know, we have seen over and over, people make one choice and it ruins their life. So there were a whole bunch of people that made choices about Donald Trump, and it's ruining their lives. People that were at the Capitol, people in Congress and the Senate, and it's going to ruin their lives. And so Ghislaine Maxwell hooked up with a wealthy, powerful guy that was not unlike her father. I'm not suggesting that her father was a pedophile, but he was crooked. And so she found that powerful guy and sort of like evidently would do anything for him. It's a very, very sad story. I'm happy for the victims. You know, this is something. They're recognized. All right, so now we're just going to go on to 2022. Those are my political things. Now we're going to get a little more personal here, because I don't know if you'll see me again until 2022. If something comes up, I really don't want to make a New Year's one just arbitrarily. I want to feel like I really have something to offer you. So we'll see. But I want to say for 2022, here's a little advice. Decide that you're going to do a reset. Don't make impossible goals, just a reset. And write down things that you'd like to happen in 22. And use, wouldn't it be nice if, and that could be about your life, wouldn't it be nice if I found that job that is 5 blocks from my house and pays well? Wouldn't it be nice, what? If Donald Trump gets indicted? Wouldn't it be nice if the Dems take over Congress and even more of the Senate? More of Congress and more of the Senate in 22. But make these for yourself. Wouldn't it be nice if I? Write it down, okay? And then I believe I told you last week that I am, and I have begun updating the Good Evidence book. It's very much the same, but I am rewriting it, I am updating it, and there will be actual books to buy from Amazon. I'm hoping by June. We'll see. I don't know how long it takes them to put this in action, but I'm very excited about that. And honestly, some of you really inspired me, because I got emails that said, "Damn, I wish I could buy 12 of these to give to my family. I wish I had a hardcover in my hand to give my kids." So really, you guys gave me that prompt. And plus I heard from people long distance. So it was you, and it was the universe tapping me. Hey, you got to get back to that. You got to get back to that. So I heard it loud and clear. Because I heard from one person that I hadn't talked to in 8 years, and one person that I hadn't talked to in 5 years, and they brought up Good Evidence. One of them invited me to do that, host that book club next month. So that's the announcement. Now, here's another piece of advice. I bought a new journal for starting a new Good Evidence log for 22. One of the reasons I did that, I'm coming to the end of my old one, but for me, I'm finishing up a 9-year numerological cycle, and a lot of things are coming to an end. I mean, it's amazing watching this. And I'm going right into a number 1. And number 1 is like the fool's journey. It's actually very exciting. It's a lot of adventure, newness. So I'm getting a brand new evidence journal for the newness. And I've had to replace a lot of things, like my coffee pot died, Redson. I was hoping to take Redson into 22 with me, and I asked him, please, baby, stay with me. But he didn't. He left me in the number 9 year. And, I'm still grieving about Redson. We were really special friends. All right. So I would like you to begin a good evidence log. Do it on a daily basis. Some days nothing really happens, so it's okay. But things change. And I'm going to give you I'm going to ask a bunch of questions that'll help you get started. Write it down and watch it grow. This is what I have to say about good evidence. Write it down and watch it grow, and watch the energy come up. Takes about 6 minutes a day. Okay? So here's some questions. I'm just going to rattle them off, really. And if you want me, I'll put the questions in the community section. But these questions will be in the new book too. Did anything light you up today? Did you help someone? Did you have a nice exchange with someone? Find a parking spot? Make a contribution? Did you overcome resistance and clean out the closet, do the laundry? Did you sit down and get creative? If you're a writer, did you sit down and get creative? Write the song, write the poem, write the essay, write the book. All you have to do is sit down. Did you have a coincidence? Did you have a psychic experience? A synchronicity. You're calling Jerry, and the phone rings, and it's Jerry. There's your synchronicity, or one of them. Did you receive an unexpected gift or surprise? Log it, jot it, write it down, and watch it grow. Okay? So you don't have to write full sentences. Just, guy at Starbucks bought me a cup of coffee today. I just made that up, but it's happened. All right? So there you go. I have one kindness story. I was driving near a brand new See's Candy, and See's Candy is not, I guess, everywhere. They don't have it in Illinois. My mother used to love See's Candy. It is fantastic candy, and Mrs. C's, I think her name was, she started it in her kitchen, and it's huge. So I went into the C's because I like what they have called cups, pecan cups. And what the pecan cups are, they're really just turtles, what we used to call turtles, and they're made with pecans and the caramel and the chocolate. So that I'm gonna bring some pecan cups to Ida's when she invited me to lunch. So I went in, and there were 2 boys in there working and putting away Christmas candy and just joking with them, really friendly. And he put the 4 cups in the bag, and I said, now usually you guys ask me if I want a piece of candy, and I have my favorite, which is I really love the dark chocolate butter chew, which is caramel. Love caramel and dark chocolate. Sure. So that's it. I tell them, you guys be safe out there. Happy New Year. I get home, and the guy behind the counter literally grabbed a handful of chocolate butter chews when I was only supposed to get 1, and threw them in the bag. And I went, oh man, that is so sweet. And I know that's kind of a pun, but it was really lovely. Here's a My Left Ear story. I lost a pair of glasses, but I think it's Petey, because I think he found a pair of my reading glasses, close-up glasses, and batted them around, and they're somewhere in the apartment. Nevertheless, I couldn't find them. So I got an old pair of frames. Here they are. They're dirty. And I went to Haig, my eye guy, my eyeglass guy, and I said, hey, I need to get new lenses in here. Okay. So these are old. And even though they put anti-glare, they're glaring, right? They're not bad. They're comfortable. So I'm standing while Haig is doing his work. And I look out, he's got 2 parts. He's got this big, beautiful sort of showroom, and then he's got a back area where he does all his magic work. making the glasses and everything, because he does it himself. And I looked out while he's working, and big glass window, and I said, you know, Haig, boy, you look to me like you're really at risk for a smash and grab. I'm just looking out here. And he said, oh yeah, that happened to me. And I went, you're kidding. And he said, yeah, I went out, I took a break. All the shopkeepers know me, and my phone rings and said, you got to get back to your place. It's been broken into. And they had smashed in the front window, and they grabbed about 40 pairs of frames, which are expensive frames, at Haig's. And I'm listening to him telling the story. I'm like, and he's really calm telling me. So I said, my God, you know, when did this happen? And he went, 3 days ago. And that, I had never said that to him before. The energy of the smash and grab was still in the store. I was like, oh my God. So Haig doesn't know that I'm intuitive. And I told him, I said, you know, Haig, I'm a little psychic. And he kind of made fun of it, but I like him. All right, so here's the thing. Now we're going to get to Petey. When I adopted Petey like 6 weeks ago, they said, oh, he's not going to get any bigger. And I went, that's really weird. He is really small. But they didn't tell me the truth. I think Petey was much younger than they told me he was. They said he was 9 months. I do not think he was 9 months. I think more like 6 from his behavior. And he is growing, all right? Well, he's put on weight because I'm feeding him really well, and he needed to put on weight. But he's growing, and he was younger than they reported. And so he's wrapped in sweetness and love and affection, but he's really naughty. And he jumps on the counters in the kitchen, and he looks for food. He has found food on occasion. Like, I ran out for a quick errand yesterday, and I forgot that I put some turkey in aluminum, homemade turkey, in aluminum, and left it on the counter. It was gone when I got home. He had a great time eating all the turkey, but he had just finished dinner too. So it's really frustrating. He's just naughty. I have walked into the kitchen, and he's head first into the garbage with that giant tail sticking up. Now that's a funny picture, but he was looking for food. He's stealing my pens and using them as toys, and I find them all over the living room and under the sofa. He broke into some plastic where I had some fresh sourdough bread, and he ate some sourdough bread. I've gotten up in the morning, and my cupboard is wide open. Not me. It was closed when I went to bed. So he's really a challenge, and he's just the sweetest and the cutest and the most affectionate. He is sleeping with me now, and he's got good etiquette. The other morning he woke up at 4 and he wanted to play. So I said, no, I don't think so. And I brought him out to the living room, and he went back to sleep. I came out at about 6:30 and he came back to bed, and he was all calm. So at least that's going well, and it's very cozy. So he's just a little scoundrel, and I am going to have to wait until he gets older. But what I have is a spray bottle of water, and I have to spray him to get him off the kitchen counters and get him out of the kitchen. He's really naughty, my friends. So there you go. I'm kind of complaining a little bit, but he is a love. Okay, now we're going to get to the quotes. There's a guy named John Fugelsang, and he does political commentary, and he's always funny, and he's often on the Stephanie Miller Show, and he travels with Stephanie Miller's group, and he does live shows, and he does stand-up, and he's actually brilliant. I met John Fugelsang a few times. I thought he was a really nice guy, really down to earth. So this is his quote. Just thought it was so clever. He said, Joe Manchin is the worst U.S. president since Putin. Is that clever or what? Joe Manchin is the worst U.S. president since Putin. I just thought that was so clever, so I'm sharing it with you. Thanks, John Fugelsang. You're so brilliant. Now, this is from Desmond Tutu, and it reminds me of, I'm not comparing myself to Desmond Tutu, but something he said reminds me of kindness on the streets. He said, do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. Rip Desmond Tutu. What an incredible human being. Do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. And then Eleanor Roosevelt. She said, do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you'll be criticized anyway. That's a good one, and she was so right. Do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you'll be criticized anyway. So thanks to all those brilliant people. I'll see you soon. We'll see what comes up. I may have a short little something, New Year's Eve. We'll see. I don't want to make any promises because I don't want to come on and blah, 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 just for the sake of blah, blah, blah. As you can, I think you can see, I like to have substance going on. In the meantime, make good decisions. I want to say don't go to parties. Just don't do it this year. Watch a good movie. Stay safe. Please. And make peace and make good memories. I really do love you all and am so grateful. So, mwah. That's my cosmic hug. Mwah. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.